时尚不仅仅是衣服，它更是故事，是文化遗产，是艺术。
在我心目中，我妈就是我第一个的 muse， 第一个的时装女神。
驰骋巴黎时装界30年的新加坡设计大师，将东西方文化、传统与现代紧密交织，在这座时尚之都成就了他的梦想。
My whole life, my whole quest is to search for beauty and search for art.
法国巴黎是著名艺术家和创意人才的摇篮，这座时尚之都更是孕育了无数传奇设计师。我这次要找的新加坡人是一位时装大师，也是我的好朋友。他还是生平第一次接受电视采访。
Bonjour， 欢迎来到巴黎。那我在巴黎这个城市也住了将近8年了，也可以算是我的第2家吧。那在这8年里呢，我认识了很多精彩的人物，其中一位就是时尚设计师 Andrew Gunn。那今天我要带你们到他在马黑区的 Atelier 去探访这位时尚界的灵魂人物。
巴黎市中心其实不大，我一般都会步行或使用公共交通。
巴黎呢，交通状况真的是很糟的，很容易塞车，尤其是通勤时间。那最方便呢，就是搭地铁。
艺术氛围浓厚的马黑区是巴黎最具标志性地区之一。这里既有中世纪建筑，也有前卫画廊。Andrew 的工作室就位于一栋奥斯曼风格建筑的1楼，这里曾是国王路易13的财务官府邸。
到了，就是这里了。Bonjour！
啊，清闲，欢迎。
我又来了。
Dans le noir total, dans le noir total, dans le noir total, dans le noir total. Silence absolu, silence absolu, silence absolu, silence absolu. Vous tous dans la salle, tous dans la salle, tous dans la salle, tous dans la salle.
现年61岁的尹昌涛 Andrew Gunn， 自1995年登陆巴黎以来，以他独树一帜的设计风格，在巴黎乃至全球时尚界占了一席之地。他的作品既有欧洲宫廷的精致奢华，又蕴含亚洲工艺的细腻匠心，每一件都是对美的极致追求。
这是我快乐的泉源 ，This is my happy place。
欢迎。
OK， 你坐下来好，我去拿衣服了。
这间沙龙是 Andrew 向顾客展示定制奢华服饰的展厅。
I wanted to design a space which is very, very luxurious and yet not overpowering my dresses. I took the inspiration from the Atelier Matin of Paul Poiret in the early 20th century. The other side of the showroom is this beautiful fresco done by a Persian artist. And then we have a beautiful, we call it the throne of the pharaoh of Egypt.
For the queen.
Andrew 的华丽现代设计吸引了无数名人的垂爱，包括皇室贵族、社会名流，以及像麦当娜、碧昂斯、Lady Gaga 等国际巨星。
This dress never run out of style and it's perfect for SG60.
There you go. Oh, wow. It's just a powerful vibrant red.
Andrew Gunn 的衣服呢，它的特点就在这个地方，肩膀，穿起来你就有自信，又有自然散发出来的魅力。
This bolero is quite an incredible piece because all the poppies, they're actually made out of vintage silk velvet. And then the trimmings are actually done in crystals to simulate the Venetian glass in a church.
And I like the power in the color.
I think this is really my Peranakan roots coming out. The love of vibrant colors, the love of textures, the love of layering.
我们终于看到蝴蝶了。
这就是我的那个很出名那个梁山伯与祝英台的蝴蝶。我第一次看那个黄梅调的梁山伯与祝英台，我最记得最后一幕就是那个哭坟了，有一对蝴蝶出现。所以在我一生来，那个蝴蝶是一个非常重要的物品，所以常常出现在我衣服上面。
即使你不是皇族，你穿上这件裙子，你就像是个公主，
也是，或者是王后。
娘娘，
娘娘。
娘娘。
I believe in creating really perfect, beautifully crafted garments. I call them my heritage pieces. I want a woman to have them and keep them in the wardrobe for a long time because the quality is so good and they're just beautiful garments. You can wear them over and over and over again and eventually pass it down to the next generations. So it's my answer to sustainability. Design less, but design only the very best.
在这个空间的每一个角落，我都能深深地感受到历史和创造力的交融。这也充分地表现出 Andrew 他把不同的世界连在一起，并创造出只属于他的作品的非凡能力。
Bonjour，
啊，清闲，
我又来了，
欢迎欢迎，
我又来
欢
到
迎。
驰骋法国巴黎多年的新加坡设计师 Andrew Gunn， 以其精致华丽的设计风格闻名全球时装界。这段非凡的职业生涯源自 Andrew 童年的成长史。1964年出生的他是一个大家族中的老幺。
Andrew， 其实我们认识这么久了，我们每次就是出来吃。对我而言，就是你的整个人生、整个开始，我都还没有完全的彻底了解。
好吧，我就来讲一下我的故事啊。我是出生于一个相当封建和传统的华人家庭。我们一共6个兄弟姐妹，在我上面那个哥哥大我大概14岁。所以我是10几年后父母亲的小意外。哥哥姐姐都比我很大，所以我是用着我的想象力去长大的。所以我用我的想象力来娱乐我自己。家中有一个很大的那个书房，爸很喜欢文学，很喜欢看书，所以那个书房里面的藏书应有尽有。所以我的艺术内心的世界通常是通过文学文字的形容，带给我很多的感动，给我领悟到那样的利益境。另外一个世界是我母亲很爱美，我妈就会带我去她的常去的那个上海师傅，在那个牛车水那边，然后她就会跟他讨论说啊，这块布啊，我们怎么做，要做什么。所以我再回想起来，我妈在我心目中就是我第一个的 muse， 第一个的时装女神。
我真的终于明白了，为什么你的衣裳上都是有保留一些文化遗产。
我逃不过，是在我的那个血脉里面就留着那样东西。
国民服役之后 ，Andrew 顺利进入伦敦著名的圣马丁艺术学院深造服装设计。
我就收到一封信，说我被录取，能进去圣马丁念书。我那时候很开心，我爸妈说：“爸爸妈妈，我进去圣马丁。”他们 那时候一句话也没说，就静静这样就走开。我说死了，你知道这个让我不去读，很担心。3年之后，我妈就回来跟我说，好，我们支持你，你可以去英国。多年之后，当我的事业有点成就的时候，她说，我这一生做的最好的一件事情，就是让我们和和，我的小名叫和和，就是让你出去开辟你自己的天地。我那时候听来就是心中暖洋洋的，多年之后想起来，那心里还是这么感动。
而且很难得的是，在那个保守的家庭中，在那个80年代要出国留学，而且是读时尚设计，这个对很多新加坡当时的家庭来说，是一个非常
太抽象了，
对，完全不能够想象。
我觉得他们很相信我，在这样是我很感动，这样我就很努力，很努力，很努力。
以全届第1名身份毕业后 ，Andrew 在知名法国设计师 Emmanuel Ungaro 门下学习了一段时间。1996年，凭借向父亲借来的一笔2万元的资金，他在巴黎推出了第一个个人系列。
That was the thriving 90s, where all the biggest names, they were still alive, they were the top of their game, and you.A young Asian representative, and you are in the fashion capital of the world.
It's true that Paris has always been like a magnet. You have Yves Saint Laurent, you have Christian Dior, and plus all the Japanese, Comme des Garçons, Yohji Yamamoto, and Issey Miyake, you know, it's all these people. So I said, you know what? It's easy to be king in a little village. I want to go to the big city. And I started working from home, and I designed a line of just sweaters and t-shirts because I could not afford a lot of things. And it's how I started. Paris is extremely fair. It's not because you are from a specific part of the world that they will treat you differently. It's a fair, open competition. And I like that. You know, it's not about race, it's not about nationality, it's about your talent.
过去30年来，Andrew 凭借卓越的才华、毅力和对时尚的热忱，赢得了国际盛誉。他的服装不仅登上各大时装秀的舞台，装点了最具影响力的女性，还曾在全球125家精品店销售。
I run my company like Singapore managed the country. We do not pretend that we're a big country, but we are definitely one of the most efficient, and people notice us. We keep on reinventing ourselves. 每3年一个蜕变，
完全180度转变。That was how you stayed relevant.
Yeah, for 30 years.
我来到巴黎的第1年呢，参加了一个国庆庆典。就在这个晚宴上，我和 Andrew 相遇了。当时呢，不打不相识，因为我们2个都同样蒸着同一碗拉沙，他是最后一碗拉沙。当然，我敬老尊贤，把那碗拉沙还给他。这5年来，每一次 Andrew 和我讲他的心路历程的时候，我都会觉得很励志。希望你们听了之后呢，也会和我一样受到很大的启发，继续往自己的梦想迈进。So Beyonce was here.
Yes.
Oh, the single lady. Oh, the single lady. Now I want to kiss the ground.
在这一集的《西游记》中，我在巴黎重新认识我的好朋友 Andrew Gunn 尹昌涛。他不仅是新加坡最负盛名的设计师，也是国际时尚界的传奇。
我全部的衣服，我设计衣服好像我的孩子，我没有偏心，我每一件都爱。
对 Andrew 来说，这座城市不仅是他生活的地方，也是他无尽灵感的来源。
The architecture is actually Henry IV. Beautiful details, the arches.
It transports you back to history.
Absolutely.
每一条老街巷 每一个不知名的角落对 Andrew 都是灵感的泉源。
Sharon, let me take you to somewhere very special.
这座博物馆是雕塑大师安托万·布德尔的家与工作室。如今，它成了一座艺术殿堂，承载着时光的记忆，让来访者能够窥见大师的创作世界。
Come, I'll show you my secret garden. Isn't this beautiful? Is it gorgeous? Look at that. This is such a beautiful space.
I can see an artist in this atelier.
I know.
And just basking in the light and
Yes.
in the thoughts.
I come here really often to really feel the peace of the place. And it's one of my favorite museums in Paris. This place is so special because each time when I come here, I really feel that I'm emotionally at peace, at ease. Look at how beautiful that is, the sculpture. And so each time I come here, I take a deep breath and you really feel that there's something inside you boiling, and it's something very emotional. And that's the work of beauty. You know, beauty works in you in the most mysterious way.
从雕塑的线条到大自然中的一花一草，我可以想象 Andrew 是如何不断地吸收、解读和创造。
So incredible, right?
Majestic.
So incredible, right? I always believe that finding inspirations and creativity is something that has to do with the subconscious mind. I have really photographic memories, so whatever I see, I register it. But what's interesting is that sometimes when you remember something, and then it's sort of mixed with other things, and it comes out differently, and that is very much like my work.
Why is art so important in your life?
I think that the beauty of art could massage my soul. And my whole life, my whole quest is to search for beauty and search for art.
在这里生活了30年后 ，Andrew 已经完全成为了一个不折不扣的巴黎人。他不仅法语说得流利，还深深融入了巴黎的生活方式。
Over here, you go to a fromagère to buy cheese, and then butcher to buy your meat, a wine store to get your wine, creamer to get your fruits and vegetables, and I just love it. It's not Emily in Paris, it's Andrew and Sharon in Paris.
It's even more
Even more.
real than
Yeah,
that.
absolutely. It's the last piece of free land in the world.
虽然在巴黎已经生活了30年 ，Andrew 无时无刻还是以新加坡人为本。
Andrew, how do you stay connected to our roots in Singapore?
Well, for me, being Singaporean is just a state of mind. I was in England, in Milan, New York. I always feel Singaporean, and I think it's just really, truly a state of mind. It's my roots, and I always say you can take this boy out of Singapore, but you can now never take Singapore out of this boy.
Actually, the more I realize, the further I get from Singapore.
The closer we are,
The closer
our
I
heart,
feel.
our heart is closer
Yes.
to our country.
Yes.
I'm excited. I'm hungry already.
Salut Thomas. Ça va? Ma copine Sharon. Ça va?
Andrew 的影响力不仅仅体现在他的设计上，他在业内人士中也是个响当当的人物。今天我们在他常去的邻里小食堂，和他业内最亲密的朋友们一同共进午餐。
Oh my God! Hi Mary. Mary, welcome.
Hello, I'm Sharon, Mary. Hello. I'm Shanti. Good to see you. Hello. How long have you not seen each other?
Since last week.
Okay, but you have to introduce me to your fabulous friends.
Well,
yeah.
Tina Isaac, who writes for American Vogue. Mary, now she's a wonderful headhunter. And Miles, who
Needs no
runs
introduction.
the Bible of Fashion, Women's Wear Daily. Talk about
Voila.
lunch.
Fantastic
Ta-da.
timing. Oh, la, la.
Mary、Tina、Miles 和 Andrew 因工作结缘。年轻时的他们从世界各地汇聚巴黎，是一同在这个城市筑梦的知音。
What is it about Andrew that made you guys hit it off right away?
We are foreign people who show up in Paris with a dream and want to make a life here. So we have that in common.
Andrew 的这群朋友见证了他从零开始，一步步建立起他的时尚帝国，也了解其中的心路历程。
A lot of journalists do backstage interviews with Andrew. It's always fun to go backstage, and I always like to see designers in that moment of, you know, creativity when they're, you know, putting the last touches on everything and they're very up and, you know, he's mopping his forehead of sweat and talking up a storm, and I wouldn't say nervous, but maybe nervous, bossy, demanding, but always, you know, ready to laugh and break the tension with some silly joke or whatever. Because he has that silly streak, and I think we share that also. You know, we like to laugh and, you know, not be serious about everything. So
I think Andrew has always had this incredible richness in the way that he has, in what he's brought to fashion. And even in the time of minimalism, Andrew did not embrace it because it was a trend, because he stayed true to himself and his own beauty and aesthetics. He doesn't have to be logos and labels for his name everywhere. And so it's almost like the best kept secret of Paris Fashion Week is Andrew Gunn.
I always tell people that for me, I get more joy out of seeing a woman wearing a piece of my garment walking down the street than just to see Linda Evangelista or Giselle Blanchen wearing it.
I think before Andrew came to Paris, Paris had really never seen anything like him. Very few people had come from another culture and blended it into the Parisian landscape and made it into something very French, very Parisian ultimately. I think Andrew has been a true inspiration for a younger generation because they can look at him and say, hey, maybe there's room in Paris for me too.
奋斗了30年后 ，Andrew 如今已决定逐步退出时尚界。这个决定得到了他业内挚友们的全力支持。
I think it's always chic to leave at the top and to leave on your own terms. I mean, we're going to miss him, but I mean, he's got lots to celebrate and he should enjoy his life more.
Such a fantastic road ahead with all the other things.
Absolutely. Hey, it's only Friday. We're having lunch here. I could never do that when I was working, right? I've not celebrated Chinese New Year for 30 years.
今天和 Andrew 的3位重量级朋友一起聚餐，让我学到了，也听到了很多行内的秘密。但是更重要的是，我觉得一个人真的要成功的话，必须身边有一群同行的真心相待、忠心耿耿的朋友，一直从头开始就支持你。这在时尚圈，我觉得真的是很难得可见。
Miles, Mary, Tina, Sharon, thank you, and I love you, love all of you, and thank you for being my friend.
Andrew Gunn.
Yeah, thank you for being our friend.
Health and happiness and success in your
Absolutely.
new chapter.
And new chapter.
OK， 你看我们的黑帮教主到了。Hello, bonjour，
Andrew 你好。
秀丽你好，你好，你好，
好久不见。
好久不见。忙吗？最近很忙吗？一定很忙吧？
对，还好。
你今天约我们来这里，我们要去哪里？
去看看古董跟古玩。
好。Andrew， 你今天为什么约我们来这个市场啊？
因为今天相当多人，而且是Design Week， 所以很多国际的有名的 designers 或者是公司全部都来到那个巴黎。
他是叫我们来凑热闹。
来凑热闹。
今天我找来了我和 Andrew 共同的朋友一起出游，她就是新加坡驻法国大使福秀丽女士。
我们喜爱那个艺术，我拼命赚钱，拼命花钱去收集那个艺术品。以前是古董迷，所以一个星期来一次，现在也比较少来。
所以大使，所以你刚来巴黎的时候，有没有常常来逛市场？
对，其实我个人兴趣就喜欢去逛古玩市场，然后当然到了巴黎，我就请教 Andrew。So Andrew 呢，应该是2-3年前吧，他第一次就带我来逛这个市场。这个古董市场规模也越来越大，所以很多那些设计师啦、收藏家啦都来这儿。
我是今天是来学的，我今天是陪大使来学的。
不敢当。你来看那个the sideboard is also very beautiful。
Andrew 和福秀丽大使是在新加坡大使馆主办的一个招待会认识的，两人因对艺术和购物的热爱而结下不解之缘。今天跟 Andrew 这位狂热的古董收藏家一起逛古玩市场，应该会受益不浅。
This is a very nice blonde.
The blue is nice, huh? Bonjour.
What is he painting on that? It looks quite interesting.
Le King.
The King. Oh,
Yes.
okay. I have his, but I've never seen this.
Yes, it's very rare in
Yeah.
this color.
Yeah.
Usually you can find all the time in green like that, but in blue.
秀丽，快来看，很美。他说是30年代，
但是它不是埃及来的，
不是埃及，是法国仿埃及，所以更有趣，就是20年代初期，很美哦。
蛮特别。
Andrew 不仅是一个行走的艺术词典，他多年来在时尚界积攒的声誉和设计中融入的新加坡本土文化元素，也为新加坡艺术在海外的推广做出了重要贡献。
我觉得大家应该为 Andrew 所得到的那个成就一起庆祝，因为我想他好多年在国外立足那个法国界的服装界也并不容易。它显示了，虽然新加坡是一个小国，但我们并不是文化艺术的沙漠。
作为驻法国的外交官，福大使对在异国创出一片天的新加坡人也有他独到的看法。
要在一个新的地方，语言不同的地方生活并不是很容易，肯定就是路途上会碰到一些困难。但我想，只要你抱着比较大胆去尝试，一个探险家的心态去尝试的话，我想你的目标是炙手可得的。最重要的就是要放开心态，放开胸怀。当你去一个新的国家居住的时候，你不要以就是新加坡是怎么样的一种视角去看待那个地方，而要去就是努力的去说当地的语言，去了解当地的文化。就好像你说我们逛跳蚤市场，这是一种文化。
我觉得可能是因为我们是一个新的国家，年轻的国家，所以我们没有那个几千年的历史放在我们的肩膀上，所以我们的信力很强。我们可以说，我们去到这个国家，我们就要做这样才能生存下去。
这个意见真的是大家听了之后，希望大家可以受到鼓励。然后，如果你们要做出什么样的一步，你们就勇敢的迈进，不要怕，带有一点点信心。来到这里也有新加坡人照顾你们。虽然 Andrew 的心属于巴黎，但他的根深深地扎在新加坡。我今天就是冲着他拿手的家乡菜来到了他的公寓。
今天我来到 Andrew 的家，准备和他和他的好朋友们一起吃午餐。那通常这个环节都是我得亲自下厨的，所以压力很大。但是今天 Andrew 什么都准备好了，我只是来蹭饭的，真幸运。Hello，
欢迎光临寒舍。
哦啦啦，谢谢你邀请我来。
快进来，外面很冷，很冷。
好。
你的家真的是一个小小博物馆，而且还好呢，我没有带我的猫来，
你没让你的猫来，
不然我就破产了，它全部打破。
Andrew 的公寓装满了精心挑选的古董、陶瓷和艺术品，是他个人品味和艺术追求的完美展现。
我收藏很多东西，因为家不说很大，而且不够地方放全部的收藏品，所以我有个 warehouse， 所以我每次去那边选择。所以这一集呢，我选的是大概是介于世界第一次大战之间的名画家，多数是那个法国跟英国30年代跟40年代的画家。
You know, Andrew, every time I come to your place, I feel so at peace. I forget all the mundane stress of my life.
You know, fashion is a very, very hectic profession. And I also want to have a space which I can feel absolutely safe, secured, and sheltered from the outside world. So this is like my castle. And I can tell you during COVID, this little sanctuary here has given me so much joy and peace and beauty.
你知道我闻到一股非常香的肉错味，
这是小惊奇，小惊奇。
为了今天的午餐 ，Andrew 从昨天就已经开始准备了。
Andrew， 你跟我们分享你为什么这么喜欢下厨？
我离开家这么久啊，如果不烹饪的话，想要吃地道的那个新加坡菜就很难，对不对？所以我的烹饪技巧也不能说是技巧，是用我所有的回忆，对于新加坡食物和亚洲食物的回忆联合在一起。我觉得烹饪就好像时装一样，就在诉说一个故事。当我想家的时候，我就会煮一些家乡菜，让我想起自己的家乡新加坡。我今天煮的是一个，我叫它叫做3合1，是很特别的菜，是我自己创造的菜，就是用新加坡的巴臭米 BCM， 还有家里有那个祖传的秘方叫做导游巴。还有中国新疆的焖面，3个方法凑在一起做成新加坡巴臭导游巴焖面，
哇，
是很厉害。对对对，又做了饺子，虾饺凉拌虾饺，那个3包是我亲自做的。上个星期刚好有个新加坡的朋友来，把那个新鲜的虾米带给我，我就自己做了这个3包的那个虾米 XO 酱。
面条炖煮的同时，我帮 Andrew 摆好一张漂亮的餐桌，静候客人的到来。
Andrew, they're here.
Oh my God! Hey, girls! Hi, welcome.
Andrew 今天的客人就是定居巴黎的几位新加坡好友与艺术家。
So, Sharon, you know Françoise,
Yes,
the co-creative director of this Humid House, the floral design company, the superstar of Singapore. Sukun, a wonderful young artist. We love her. She's Teochew. We speak Teochew together. And Audrey, my very dear girlfriend. So she loves flowers and natures. So yeah, today we'll talk art, flowers, and local food.
Ooh, the best. The best type of luncheon.
焦香的
肉错豆油焖面，还有卤蛋。
水饺，来水饺。
水饺也要撒一下吗？
啊，当然要撒。
来，我撒一下。
有呀。 It's amazing, amazing creation for me. And Sharon is bringing the homemade 饺子, the 水饺.
亲手制作的饺子。
Bon appétit!
Bon appétit!
Bon appétit!
Thank you! Oh là là!
Merci beaucoup. Oh my god, the sambal.
Do you take the sambal? Everyone
Yes,
take the
the
sambal?
sambal is
Right.
spicy but very, very good.
今天很有缘分，和 Andrew 的3位艺术界的朋友一起提前庆祝农历新年。让我感到很有趣的是，无论你离开你的国家10多年、20多年、30多年也好，但是民以食为天，一谈到食物，就会瞬间把我们带回新加坡，带回我们的根。
Are you alive?
Yeah.
Like thinking of this sambal, it's like Coco is in heavy here, no?
It's good heavy, heavy.
You're learning the secret. No, I'm not learning the secret. I rather enjoy than make them.
虽然常年生活在外，Andrew 的巴黎住家仍然散发着家乡的感觉。
Today's beautiful table setting is done by Françoise, who came in last night, and she brought in all these wonderful orchids. And Audrey, I know that you love flowers. Look at how beautiful this is, amazing.
I do follow you on Instagram.
It started in Singapore. We do everything from bouquet all the way to landscape. I'm actually born in France. I'm born in a suburb, but to come back here was really to come and have a new playground.
But you were in Singapore for a long time.
Very long.
For a very long time. She's Singaporean, she is.
And I will say, actually, I opened my eyes in Singapore.
How do you sort of balance and merge the taste of home together with perhaps a global perspective?
This is my 10th year in Paris, and these days there's more activity in arts in Singapore, and so I have like much more activities in Singapore, and my practice overseas also helped me to be able to find a voice that is original, and also pushing me further into honing my craft and to create a more interesting artwork.
I love it because it's amazing
So
how she
wonderful.
said, like 25 years ago, our art scene wasn't that flourishing. But now you're presenting your exhibition, your little pieces, actually in the Marine Parade.
They're not little, they're quite big. They're huge.
Oh my God, so you haven't
Yes.
talked about that because it's like homecoming with such a grand presentation.
Yeah, it's really fun these days in the Singapore art scene. I have 2 public sculptures in Singapore. One is along the rail corridor, and then the second public sculpture that I have in Singapore is in Marine Parade MRT station.
Audrey, how many years have you already been in France, in Paris?
Wow. Well, my daughter's 22, so I would say like 25 years. I love France, but somehow my identity, I still feel that it's very linked to Singapore. Yes.
The more and the longer you live away from home, the more we feel closer to them.
我看着 Andrew，他把文化传承和巴黎生活完美的融合在一起，这提醒了我，身份这个东西并非一成不变呢，它是我们所体验的一切交织而成的丰富画卷。
It's wonderful to have all of you with us.
Thank you
Yeah, I know.
bringing us together and
Let's toast,
inviting
right?
us.
Let's toast to Singapore. Let's toast to Singapore. Santé, santé,
Santé.
toast. 经过
30年的辉煌成就，尹昌涛这个首位在巴黎时尚界立足的新加坡设计师，决定为他的这段风采篇章画上句号。1年前，他宣布从时尚界退隐，也让他的同名品牌走入历史。
I'm a very disciplined person. I seldom go to parties, and I wake up early and make sure I'm the first one to arrive in the office. And I'm so proud to be able to keep my name for so long, for 30 years, because there aren't a lot of independent companies who could last that long. I had 2 health issues, 2 big scares. One is 2015, I had to have an open heart surgery, and then 2021, I had a stroke. So I think when you had 2 health issues like that, you think about your life. when Asian Civilization Museum showcased my work, gave me my retrospective exhibition, I thought that was really the height of my career, because there's nothing more honorable than to be honored by your own country. So I said to myself, 30 is a long time. I have nothing else to prove. I've done whatever I have to do. I really want to live my life, to enjoy my life, to be able to see the friends that I love, to be able to go for long walks and go to movies in the middle of the week. That's a lot of pleasurable things, because, a lot of people wouldn't understand that when you work in fashion, you're bound by the fashion system and also the schedule. But at one point, when you've done it for so long, it really takes a lot away from you, and I want to live my life.
为迎接人生的新旅程 ，Andrew 选择以富有深意的方式与过去告别。
Sharon, there you go.
Andrew, what is this room?
This was my bedroom, and you are in my 18th century home.
Andrew 的这间18世纪的卧室，曾是他梦想开始的地方，也是承载他无数创意灵感的空间。Andrew 决定把这里所有的艺术藏品细数，捐赠给新加坡的亚洲文明博物馆。这不仅是他对文化传承的致敬，也是他个人对国家的回馈。
So you can see all the walls. They're fully covered with Chinese and Japanese 19th century embroideries and tapestries and woven fabrics from all over Europe and also from Asia. The flowers here are glass flowers from Beijing, and they're actually from my mother. It was actually in her dowry, and she's giving it to me, and now I'm giving it to Singapore. Because for me, in a way, it's giving back to Singapore. This was my very private part of my life, my bedroom. This is where I dream, and therefore I like to share this with everyone in Singapore.
That means our audience and Singaporeans will be able to experience and feel your dreams?
Yes.
与此同时 ，Andrew 也捐赠了160个最具代表性的服装给亚洲文明博物馆。Andrew 这位时装界的翘楚，即使他离开热爱的时尚设计，他的创意将继续在不同的艺术领域发光发热。时尚只是其中一个载体，对美的追求才是他一生的信仰。
I'm a creative person, so my creativity will go on no matter what. It might not be in fashion because I'm stepping back from fashion, but my quest for beauty must go on.
从巴黎到新加坡，从时尚到艺术 ，Andrew 跟尹昌涛的旅程是自我突破与文化融合的最佳见证。对他来说，生活就像是艺术，是一块画布，一块我们可以不断重新定义的画布。那即使一段篇章结束了，那另外一段充满可能性的开始也将随之开启了。OK， 这个我应该会来。新加坡首个被列入世界文化遗产名录的地标是什么 ？I know，OK？Botanical Gardens。Botanical Gardens， 答案是新加坡植物园。对，新加坡植物园于2015年，也就是我们新加坡庆祝40周年的时候，不是50周年的时候 ，SG 50的时候被列入世界文化遗产。耶耶！